Okay. All right. So this training today will essentially be covering the creditors and the Zimbabwean side, or the Zimbabwean way and flavor of handling the Genesis creditors. What I mean by this is this will entail multi-currencies in regards to the way you guys currently do items, but it will also be covering all the standard creditors functions within our system. All right. So as per normal, when you log into Genesis, we'll double click and we'll go into the creditors module to access creditors. However, as a lot of you might know, the creditors start from GRVs, all right, starts from the goods receiving vouchers. So it's very important to make sure that when you do a GRV, all the items related to the GRV is correct. All right. So I've done a few GRVs here. Yes, Metro.
So you are getting a feedback. I think
Just mute yours.
Like also.
Getting a feedback. I can't hear my feedback anywhere else, so it must be on your side. Because everything is muted here in the office. Okay, is anybody else getting feedback, or is it working? Can everybody else hear me clearly?
I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Yes, I thought, okay. I'm proceeding. All right. So in regards to our suppliers and our invoices. Our invoices start essentially when capturing a goods receiving voucher. When we're receiving stock. All right. I'll do an example. So when we go into the stock control module, transactions, and we go GRVs. Okay. Here's the current open GRVs, etc. This is part of purchasing training and stock training. This is not part of this training, but this is a simulation just to give you context in regards to your invoices, how it gets captured, and how everything gets affected. So I'm just going to start a new GRV, and I'm going to call it, for example, Creditor Forex. All right. So when I'm doing the GRV, etc., when I'm doing these things, right? I'll put in a title for it. For example, 1,000 Rand. Let's do it quickly. I'm just going to capture the stock item here. Really. So once the whole stock item has been captured, and once the titles, etc., have been entered for the supplier, I'm going to put in a title here quickly. I'm going to put in the amount here. If there was foreign currency at all necessary here, we can also stipulate it here. And the current currency date and the effective rate. Note that when we do a US dollar GRV, or we do a Zim dollar GRV, we do the conversion rate here, and we do the conversion for it here. Okay. Hold on, give me a second. Somebody's eating mazimbas. Please mute. Live, you're eating mazimbas. Thank you. All right. So note that when you capture a GRV, right, you will, and you put in a foreign currency like US dollar, the only thing that will happen is the supplier invoice total will be converted from US dollar to Zim dollar going into creditors. We do not capture a creditor's amount in US dollar and store it in US dollar at all. So we only take the GRV or the invoice title, let's say it's a US dollar invoice, and we capture it within our system, and right here on the purchasing side and the GRV side, we convert it to a Zim dollar. All right. So when it goes through to the creditor, it will sit in US dollar. Okay, it will sit in Zim dollar. Sorry. That's the way we do it. Okay. I've captured it here. I can save it. It's perfect. So here I can see the GRVs are open. Open GRVs only. So I can authorize the GRV. All right, the GRV has been authorized. So this will all happen on your side. This will all happen at store level. From store level, this will post through to the creator's head office. Okay. So when I go, after I've done the GRV, when I go into the creators, I go into transactions, authorizations, GRV postings. So what Genesis does is the moment you authorize the GRV, it takes your stock and it puts your stock into the system. What it then does is it takes the invoice, the supplier invoice, and it pushes it up to head office. All right. And it puts it through here to your authorizations. Here you can select your source branch. So if it was GRVs that you want to view for BTC, you're going to click on source branch and select BTC. If it's going to be for ATC, you're going to select ATC. If it's going to be for head office, you're going to select head office. Okay. So this is where everything comes and sits. Note that nothing will appear on your creditor's transactions or on your transactions for that creditor without it being posted here. So everything sits here and parks here. So you have to authorize it from here. You have to click on post to creditors and you have to say post to creditors here like this before it goes through to your creditors transactions and before the aging and the terms of the invoice starts. The reason we do this is if there is a difference, if you can click here, you can view in details. If there's a difference on the posting dates and difference on the due dates, etc., or there's something like a rebate or something that is there, it needs to be checked from head office through the creditors before it gets authorized for payment to go into the creditors transactions. Okay. So simple reports and how you can do this is here's your search options. You can search for the account number, for example, 100704, which will only give you everything for this supplier. You can search on supplier document number, you can search on GRV number, etc. All right. If you want to see, there's an echo again. If you want to see, sorry. Okay, if you want to see, you go to utilities and you click on indicators. If you click on this GRV that was made, you see it came directly through from a GRV. And you click on the indicators, it will show you who printed it, who printed the GRV, who authorized it, and who posted it. So if you need to go back and see who's the person that captured the original GRV, if there's a mistake, and who's the person that authorized it, you will click on the line and you'll click on indicators. All right. And the dates as well for it. Right here, you can do the normal, as per the normal Genesis grids. You can click here on the creditor's name. It will filter it by, sort it by name. You can click on supply document number, etc. They can do on this. So note that the standard protocol for the system is every day somebody or the people responsible for those accounts need to go through the G logging in the GRV posting utility, and they need to ensure that everything is authorized. If something is not going to be authorized, it's not going to go through to the creditors transactions module, which means it's not going to go for payment, which means it's not going to be on the age analysis. So it's very important to ensure that everything is posted. All right.
Pinlock.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, now I'm in and I can hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
Just to clarify and recap on what you're saying, and I'm trying to map it to our current processes. So
Yeah.
at store level, we've got someone that captures the GRV. right?
Yes.
So is it possible to restrict their access to capturing the GRV at the shop level? And then we've got a branch clerk who can then check and then authorize that GRV at the shop level before it comes through to head office creditors for then posting into the supplier account. Can we restrict access according to those 3 levels?
Absolutely yes.
Okay.
However, the standard protocol, right, and some of the other clients, if you want to use it, is the paperwork for the supplier arrives, okay? Let's say there's a purchase order, or let's say it's something like bread or newspapers. This item gets GRV'd, right? It sits and waits authorization. So somebody like a store manager or a supervisor will authorize that GRV to go into stock, right? The papers and the invoices, etc., then gets sent to head office. Once it arrives at head office, there's somebody that looks at the papers, looks at the GRVs, make sure the creditor totals is the same, make sure it's the correct supplier that's been selected. Once that person is happy, they'll click on that creditor, click on post creditors, and then they will post it through to go into the financials. That's how some of the other clients do it, because there's somebody at head office that ensures that if this was received from this supplier, is the totals correct? Was it, for example, GRV'd on the correct item? Was it GRV'd under the correct supplier? Somebody to ensure that, for example, a USD supplier, one of the guys didn't GRV a normal invoice in Zim dollar on a USD supplier, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's precisely the same process that we've got here. So
Yes.
I'm glad that we can separate access rights accordingly.
Absolutely. So then once
Okay.
it's authorized, all right, I'm gonna give over to Colleen just now, but once it's authorized, when you go into the creditor now, the supplier, and you run, for example, your transaction statement, it would not appear before it. Now you see, once it's authorized, now it sits here in the supplier title, in the creditor's title. So which means it's there, it's gone through, etc. If it has not been authorized, then this transaction will not appear on your creditors. You see there, it hasn't come through, it hasn't been G-locked at all. So that's why the GRV postings is important. All right. So I'm going to go give the room to Colleen now, which is going to train and show you guys how to create a creditor, right? And how to create a supplier or an accounts payable, okay? And we're going to go with the rest of the steps through there. But note that here, it's very, very important to make sure that the suppliers you create, etc., terms are correct, the currencies, etc., is correct, they capture the stuff correctly, and when it comes through here, everything on your site will be in Zim dollar. So everything on the document title must be in Zim dollar. That's the simple thing, because we've already done the conversion from US dollar or from Rand to Zim dollar. So everything sitting here has come through to the system-based currency, which is Zim dollar. All right, Colleen?
Hi everyone, can you hear me? Okay.
Hi,
So we're just
Colleen.
gonna-
Yes, can hear you.
Perfect. Okay, so we're going to start with creating a creditor. So first you'll go into your, under creditors module, you'll go into your master files, creditor master. Then you'll add. So this is where you will add in your